Have you ever felt a sudden, heart-stopping lurch in your stomach as your foot catches on an unseen crack in the pavement? Or perhaps you've experienced that split second of dizzying uncertainty when rising from a chair, a moment where the world seems to tilt on its axis. For millions of older adults, this is not a rare occurrence. It is a quiet, creeping fear that shadows their daily lives. The statistics are staggering and soberingly real. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, an older adult falls every single second of every day in the United States, making falls the leading cause of injury-related death among those aged 65 and older. This isn't a story that begins with blaring sirens or dramatic warnings. It unfolds in the silent, ordinary moments of life. Walking to the mailbox, navigating a familiar grocery aisle, or simply getting out of bed in the morning. One misstep, one moment of imbalance, can become the devastating turning point that leads to weeks in a hospital, a painful and arduous recovery, or the profound loss of one's most cherished asset, the freedom to live independently. But what if this narrative of inevitable decline is fundamentally flawed? What if the path to stability isn't paved with expensive gym memberships, complex machinery, or daunting physical regimens? What if the most powerful tools for staying steady, strong, and confident on your feet are already within your possession, waiting to be rediscovered? In this comprehensive exploration, we will delve into 6 foundational walking techniques, secrets hidden in plain sight, that are championed by physical therapists, geriatric specialists, and movement experts across the country. These are not drastic overhauls, but small, profound adjustments, subtle shifts in awareness and motion that can have a monumental impact on your safety and well-being. By the end of our journey together, you will not only know what these 6 pillars of stability are, you will understand the deep biomechanical and neurological science behind why they work, and you will be empowered with practical, actionable strategies to integrate them into your life starting today. So whether you are in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, or you are a caring friend or family member seeking to support a loved one, we invite you to join us. The insights we are about to share could be the key to transforming fear into freedom and uncertainty into unshakable control with every single step you take. If this mission to reclaim confidence resonates with you, please take a moment to support our channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell. You won't want to miss the life-affirming knowledge we have in store. The first pillar of stability, your gaze as your guide. It sounds deceptively simple, almost too basic to be a secret, yet where you choose to look when you walk is arguably the single most critical factor in determining the stability of your entire body. Imagine your body as a train, with your head as the lead engine. Wherever that engine points, the carriages, your shoulders, spine, and hips are compelled to follow. For a vast number of older adults, a dangerous habit has quietly taken root, the constant downward gaze. You might believe that looking at your feet is the safest way to walk, a vigilant strategy to spot potential hazards. However, in a cruel twist of irony, this very habit often becomes the architect of the fall you are trying so desperately to avoid. When your head tilts downward for a prolonged period, a cascade of negative postural changes is set in motion. Your shoulders instinctively round forward, your upper spine curves into a slump, and most critically, your center of gravity is pushed forward, away from your base of support. This subtle but significant misalignment not only throws off your body's natural balance, but also severely limits your peripheral vision, your brain's primary tool for scanning the path ahead. You become more likely, not less, to miss the very crack, bump, or obstacle that you were worried about in the first place. Instead, physical therapists and movement specialists advocate for a simple but transformative shift they call the forward gaze rule. The principle is to keep your eyes looking straight ahead, focusing on a point approximately 10 to 15 feet in front of you for the majority of your walk. You should only glance down occasionally and purposefully when you know you need to assess an immediate surface change, like a curb or a step. This forward focus is a powerful command to your entire postural system. It encourages your head to stay balanced atop your neck, which in turn allows your spine to stack naturally and your core muscles to engage. Your steps become more even, your awareness expands, and your body moves with an integrated grace you may have thought was lost. Let's consider the story of Harold, a 78-year-old retired mechanic who cherished his daily morning walks through his quiet, leafy neighborhood. Over several months, Harold began to notice a persistent feeling of unsteadiness, particularly when navigating the gentle downhill slopes of his route. He found himself tensing up, his walks becoming a source of anxiety rather than pleasure. After a conversation with a movement specialist, he had a revelation. His lifelong habit of meticulously watching his feet was causing him to lean forward precariously, essentially chasing his own center of gravity down the hill. The specialist gave him a simple exercise. As he walked, he was to focus on the top of a mailbox or a tree branch in the distance. The change was not instantaneous, but with practice, it was profound. Once he committed to walking with his eyes up and his chin gently lifted, he felt the tension in his neck and shoulders dissolve. His stride felt smoother, longer, and more confident. He wasn't fighting his own body anymore. That small adjustment, simply changing where he directed his gaze, gave his entire nervous system a renewed sense of control and equilibrium. The power of this first pillar cannot be overstated. When your head is upright, your inner ear's vestibular system, which is crucial for balance, can function optimally. Your spine aligns, your core activates almost without effort, and your balance improves as a natural consequence. So if you have ever felt unsure while walking or find yourself staring at the ground more than the world ahead, remember this powerful truth. Let your vision guide you, not your fear. Sometimes the most profound shift in your stability begins with the simple, conscious decision of where you choose to look. That was the first secret, a crucial foundation for everything that follows. If you find this information about the power of your head position useful and are ready to apply it, please show your commitment by commenting with the number 1 below. We love to see you engaging with these principles. The second pillar, rediscovering the rhythm of your arms. When we contemplate the mechanics of balance, our thoughts naturally gravitate downwards to our legs and feet. But what if I told you that half of the equation for a stable, confident walk lies in your upper body? Your arms are not merely passive appendages. They are the natural, dynamic counterweights your body masterfully employs to stay centered and upright with every step you take. Think about the beautiful, almost unconscious synchronicity of a healthy walk. As your right leg moves forward, your left arm should gently and naturally swing forward in opposition, and vice versa. This contralateral movement is a marvel of biomechanical engineering. This subtle, rhythmic crossing motion accomplishes 2 vital tasks. It counteracts the rotational force generated by your moving legs, keeping your torso from twisting, and it ensures your momentum remains balanced and directed forward. It's your body's innate system for staying upright without having to constantly overcorrect and waste precious energy. Unfortunately, as people age, this essential arm swing often diminishes or disappears entirely, and the change is so gradual that it frequently goes unnoticed. Why does this happen? The reasons are varied. It could be due to shoulder stiffness, pain from arthritis, or the practical necessity of always carrying something, like a purse or grocery bag. More often than not, however, the culprit is the same one we encountered before: fear. When we become anxious about falling, our bodies reflexively tense up. We brace for impact, locking our arms to our sides as if to form a protective shield. In doing so, we inadvertently dismantle one of our most effective built-in stabilization systems. Let's turn to the experience of Miss Bernice, a 79-year-old retired schoolteacher who began relying on a walking cane after a frightening fall in her kitchen. Logically, she assumed the cane would improve her stability. Yet, over time, she felt her balance was actually getting worse. She felt more rigid, more tentative. During a physical therapy session, her therapist made a gentle but astute observation. Bernice's right arm, the one holding the cane, was held stiffly in place, while her left arm remained almost motionless at her side. She had stopped swinging her arms altogether. With some patient guidance, Bernice began to practice a new way of walking. She learned to use the cane for support with her right hand, while consciously allowing her left arm to swing freely in rhythm with her right leg. It felt awkward at first, a conscious effort to do something that was once automatic. But after just a few weeks of practice, she described the feeling as if a weight had been lifted. "Walking feels lighter," she said with a smile. "I feel more like myself again." So here is your call to action. The next time you walk, bring a gentle awareness to your arms. Keep your elbows relaxed, your hands unclenched and open, and simply allow your arms to swing naturally from the shoulder. You don't need to force it or exaggerate the motion. A calm, steady rhythm is all that is required. Even if one arm is weaker, stiffer, or occupied with a cane or walker, make a point to swing the other. One swinging arm provides significantly more counterbalance than none. This simple act of re-engaging your arms sends a powerful signal of stability and confidence through your entire body. We are now on our second foundational pillar, and if you are still with us and finding these insights valuable, please let us know you're here by commenting with the number 2 below. Your feedback and engagement mean the world to us and help us understand which habits are resonating most with you. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next game-changing tip. Your support is what allows us to continue sharing knowledge that can make the journey of aging safer and more joyful. The third pillar, the heel-to-toe connection to the earth. The way your foot makes contact with the ground is a silent conversation that dictates your entire sense of balance. It might seem like an automatic, thoughtless action, but this subtle sequence of movement is a cornerstone of stable walking. Surprisingly, a great number of older adults, often without realizing it, gradually adopt a flat-footed gait or even begin landing on their toes first. This slow, creeping change in their foot strike pattern is a hidden culprit that systematically makes them more unstable over time. Let's first break down what is supposed to happen in a healthy, efficient walking step. The motion should begin with your heel making the first gentle contact with the ground. From there, the pressure should roll smoothly through the arch of your foot, from the outside edge toward the big toe. The movement culminates at the ball of your foot and your toes, which then provide the propulsive push-off that launches you into your next step. This elegant heel-to-toe rolling motion is not just about looking graceful. It is a biomechanical necessity. It acts as a natural shock absorber, protecting your ankles, knees, and hips from jarring impact. It keeps your joints in proper alignment and, crucially, it prevents your toes from catching or scuffing on uneven surfaces, which is a common cause of tripping. So why does this vital pattern change as we age? For many, chronic joint stiffness, ankle pain, or old injuries can cause them to unconsciously alter their gait to avoid discomfort, leading them to avoid a firm heel strike. For others, the fear of falling leads to a tentative, shuffling gait where the feet barely leave the ground. The profound irony is that this shuffling, intended as a protective measure, dramatically increases the chance of tripping because the front of the foot is more likely to snag on a rug, a threshold, or a crack in the sidewalk. This is precisely the situation Leonard, a 74-year-old passionate gardener, found himself in. After stumbling several times on his own back porch, an area he knew like the back of his hand, he paid closer attention and made a startling discovery. He was barely lifting his feet at all. His walk had become a hesitant shuffle. A physical therapist introduced him to a simple retraining exercise. Holding onto his kitchen counter for support, Leonard began to practice walking in place, focusing on one thing and one thing only, consciously making his heel the very first part of his foot to touch the floor. He practiced it slowly, deliberately, one step at a time. Within a couple of weeks, something remarkable began to shift. It wasn't just his walk. His legs began to feel stronger and more engaged. The chronic ache in his knees lessened. He was walking more confidently around his beloved garden, not necessarily faster, but with a newfound sense of control and purpose. When you lead with your heel, you are sending a signal up your entire kinetic chain. Your calf muscles engage properly, your quadriceps fire to stabilize your knee, and your hips move in perfect sync. Your whole leg begins to work as an integrated, supportive team, bringing your body back into its natural rhythm. Here is a simple but powerful tip you can try at home to reconnect with this feeling. Find a safe, clear space and lay a towel on the floor. Take off your shoes and socks and walk slowly across the towel. Pay exquisite attention to the sensations. Feel each part of your foot connecting with the soft surface, the firm landing of the heel, the gentle roll across the arch, and the final push from your toes. At first, this level of awareness might feel strange or exaggerated, but the more you practice, the more this healthy pattern will become second nature. As your body remembers this fundamental language of movement, your risk of falling quietly and significantly goes down, often without you even consciously realizing it. Do you have any similar experiences with noticing changes in the way you walk? Or perhaps a story about how mindful movement helped you? Don't hesitate to share your story in the comments section. We learn so much from each other's journeys. If you found this tip about the heel-to-toe roll helpful, Please let us know by commenting with the number 3. The fourth pillar, the surprising power of a shorter stride. This next principle may seem so elementary that it's easy to dismiss, yet the length of your stride has an enormous and direct impact on your balance, especially as you navigate the changes that come with age. When we were younger, a long, confident stride felt powerful and efficient. For decades, it was how most of us moved through the world. But as our bodies change, that same long stride can quietly become a source of instability and risk. Why is this? The physics are straightforward. When you reach too far forward with your lead foot, an action known as overstriding, your center of gravity is momentarily left behind, shifting your weight backward just as your foot lands. This creates a brief but critical window of instability. It throws off your balance and forces your body to work harder to correct itself. Furthermore, overstriding creates a braking effect with every step, sending a jarring force up through your heel, knee, and hip, increasing strain on these joints. Perhaps most dangerously, it slows down your ability to react. If you slip or trip while your legs are spread far apart, it takes longer to bring your other foot forward to catch yourself. Now, here is the encouraging and somewhat counterintuitive news. Adopting shorter steps can be one of the most effective things you can do to enhance your stability. Shorter steps help you stay centered. They ensure that your weight remains directly over your feet, which is your base of support. This keeps your movements more controlled, your reactions quicker, and your connection to the ground more solid and secure. Your entire body works more efficiently and with less strain when you are not constantly overreaching. For a moment, think about how toddlers walk when they are first learning. They take small, quick, sometimes shuffling steps, often with their arms out to the side for balance. They are low to the ground and utterly focused. Their primary goal isn't to get somewhere fast, it's to stay upright. That innate wisdom doesn't disappear with age. In fact, its value only increases. The mantra for safe walking should always be stability before speed. Consider Mr. Franklin, a retired postman in his early 80s. His former career had conditioned him to walk quickly with long, ground-covering strides. He believed that maintaining this pace would help him stay strong and fit. But after a couple of unnerving stumbles in familiar places, he knew something had to change. With the guidance of a local therapist from a community senior center, he began a new experiment. He consciously shortened his stride and, in turn, slightly increased his step rhythm, or cadence. The results were astounding. Since making that one change, he hasn't had a single fall. He even remarked that he feels less tired after his walks because his muscles are no longer in a constant state of correcting his teetering balance. Here's a little trick you can try to feel the difference for yourself. In a safe, open area, walk at your normal pace for 10 seconds and count your steps. Then, try it again, but this time make a conscious effort to take slightly shorter, quicker steps for the same 10-second period. If your step count goes up, that's a clear sign that you are moving with better control and keeping your center of gravity more stable. The same principle applies if you use a cane or a walker. Keep the walking aid close to your body, not far out in front of you. Keep your steps compact, steady, and close to your center. Your body will thank you, and you will feel the difference in your confidence. We are now 4 pillars in, and the foundation for your stability is getting stronger. If you're still watching and finding these tips useful, please let us know you're here by commenting with the number 4 below. And if this content is providing real value, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you won't miss what's coming next. Your support is our motivation. The 5th pillar, your core, the unseen anchor of your balance. When people think about building strength for safe walking, they almost always focus on the legs. While leg strength is undeniably important, the true command center for your balance begins at the very center of your body, your core. Your core is not just your abs. It is a complex, 3-dimensional muscular corset that includes the muscles in your abdomen, your lower back, your hips, and your pelvic floor. These muscles work in synergy to act like a natural support belt, keeping your spine upright, your posture aligned, and your body steady as you move through space. When your core is weak or disengaged, a chain reaction of compensation occurs throughout your body. Everything else has to work overtime to pick up the slack. Your leg muscles tighten as they struggle to provide stability that should be coming from your torso. Your posture begins to slouch, further shifting your center of gravity. Your entire walking pattern can become disjointed and unstable. It is often in this state of muscular imbalance and postural weakness that stumbles, trips, and falls are most likely to happen. Here is the most empowering part of this pillar. You do not need to perform grueling workouts, do hundreds of crunches, or get a gym membership to build a functional, supportive core. Gentle, simple, and consistent actions woven into your daily routine can make a profound and lasting difference. The key is not intensity, but awareness and consistency. Try this simple, safe exercise right now. Stand near a sturdy counter or the back of a chair for light support. Shift your weight onto one leg and slowly lift the other foot just a few inches off the floor. Try to hold this position for 5 to 10 seconds without leaning heavily on your support. Then, switch sides. This small, seemingly insignificant move is a powerhouse. It instantly forces your deep core muscles to fire up to keep you from toppling over, training both your muscles and your brain to focus intently on balance. You can also practice core activation throughout your day in ways that are completely invisible to others. As you walk, stand in line at the store, or brush your teeth, try this cue. Gently pull your belly button in toward your spine as if you were trying to zip up a tight pair of pants. Hold for a few seconds, then release. It's a subtle internal contraction, but it activates the deep transverse abdominis muscle, a key stabilizer for your lower back and pelvis. Let's hear from Mrs. Lillian, age 81, who began incorporating these mini exercises into her daily life. She would practice her standing leg lifts each day while waiting for her morning tea to steep. She would do the belly button to spine cue while watching the evening news. They were small moments, barely noticeable interruptions in her day. But after a few weeks of this consistent, gentle work, she reported a remarkable change. She no longer felt wobbly on her morning walks to the garden. "It's like my body remembered how to stand tall again," she shared with a radiant smile. The confidence that bloomed from this newfound stability was palpable. So please, do not relegate the idea of core strength to the world of athletes or younger fitness enthusiasts. It is your secret weapon for moving through the world with grace and control at any age. A strong, engaged center gives you balance, and that balance, in turn, gives you the priceless gift of freedom. This might be the most overlooked secret of all. If you're committed to strengthening your core and reclaiming that central stability, let us know by commenting with the number 5 below. We are building a community of proactive, empowered individuals right here. The 6th pillar, walking with your mind, not just your feet. One of the most surprising and frequently overlooked causes of falls in older adults isn't a loose rug, a cluttered hallway, or a missing handrail. It's the split-second moment when the brain doesn't fully register a change in the floor beneath the feet. As we age, our neurological processing speed, our ability to perceive, interpret, and physically adjust to visual and textural shifts in our environment can slow down just a little. A transition from a light-colored carpet to a dark hardwood floor, a sudden change from a rough to a smooth texture, or an abrupt shift in lighting can momentarily confuse our sense of depth perception and footing. All it takes is one delayed reaction, one miscalculation by the brain for your balance to be compromised. Take, for instance, the common transition between carpet and tile or hardwood. The sound of your footsteps changes. The feeling underfoot changes from soft to hard. Even the temperature might be different. If your attention is elsewhere, if you're thinking about your grocery list or are distracted by a conversation, your brain may not process that change quickly enough. You might step with the same force you used on the carpet, causing your foot to slide unexpectedly on the slicker surface, all without fully understanding why you lost your balance. This is precisely why physical therapists recommend a small but incredibly powerful cognitive habit, quietly and intentionally naming the surface you are about to step on. As you approach a new texture or level, you can say to yourself, silently or out loud, tile, rug, grass, or step up. It might sound odd or even silly at first, but this simple verbal or mental cue acts as a powerful focusing agent. It pulls your brain out of autopilot mode, brings your attention squarely into the present moment, and prepares your body's motor system for the specific action required. Peter, a 79-year-old widower from Minnesota, started practicing this technique after a near slip on the glossy, high-shine hallway floor of his apartment building. The bright overhead lights created reflections that made the perfectly flat surface look uneven, causing a moment of profound disorientation. Now, as he walks, he silently calls out each change in his path: lobby tile, entry mat, elevator floor. He says it helps him feel like he is one step ahead of every surface, an active participant in his movement rather than a passive victim of his environment. You must also be especially mindful of other visual tricksters. High-shine floors, as Peter discovered, can create optical illusions. Shadows cast by trees on a sunny sidewalk can look like potholes or cracks, causing you to hesitate or trip. And if you wear bifocal or progressive lenses, you must exercise extra caution, particularly with stairs or curbs. The lower part of your lenses is designed for reading, and it can distort the depth and location of the floor, making a step seem closer or farther away than it actually is. The solution is simple but crucial. Pause before a step or curb and consciously tilt your head down so you are looking through the top, distance portion of your lenses. This final pillar teaches us that walking is a partnership between the body and the mind. Every small shift in the world beneath our feet deserves our full attention. The more intentional and mindful your steps become, the safer and more confident your movement will feel. We've now covered all 6 pillars of walking with confidence. If you've stayed with us on this entire journey and found this final tip on mindful awareness helpful, please complete the set by commenting with the number 6 below. Your support and participation in this community are truly invaluable. And if you haven't yet, this is a great time to hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone you care about. Getting older often brings with it more than just physical aches or a bit of stiffness. It can bring a quiet, pervasive fear. The fear of falling, the fear of losing control, the fear of one day not being able to rise again. But here's the profound truth that we so often forget. Small, conscious choices have the power to reclaim immense confidence. True stability doesn't require expensive gear or grueling, specialized routines. It requires awareness. The 6 foundational walking techniques we have explored together today are not difficult or foreign. They are simple, natural patterns of movement that your body already knows. In a way, you are not learning something entirely new. You are simply remembering something wise that may have been forgotten over time. When you begin to practice these pillars consistently, lifting your chin to let your gaze guide you, allowing your arms to swing in their natural rhythm, feeling the earth with a firm heel-to-toe roll, taking shorter and more stable steps, engaging your central core, and walking with a mindful awareness of your surroundings, something beautiful and transformative happens. It's not just that your objective risk of falling goes down. Your subjective sense of control, your feeling of agency over your own body begins to return. You stop walking like you're afraid and start moving like you're free. That shift is powerful. It is the difference between seeing your home as a field of potential hazards and seeing it as your sanctuary. It's the difference between declining a walk in the park and striding out to enjoy the sunshine. This journey is not about walking perfectly. It's about walking with purpose. Every small change, every conscious step is a quiet but defiant act of strength. It is a declaration that you are not fragile, you are adapting, you are learning, and every step forward is a victory. Now, as we conclude, we would love to hear from you. After this deep dive, what is the most important lesson you've learned for yourself? Which of these 6 foundational habits spoke to you the most, and is there one you plan to try on your very next walk? Thank you for being here with us today. We truly appreciate you investing your time in your own well-being. If something in this discussion spoke to you, we invite you to share it in the comments. Let us know one idea or insight you are taking with you and how it might help in your daily life. Your words have power and might be the very inspiration someone else in our community needs to read today. If this message brought you value, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and sharing it with a friend or family member you care about. Your support is the fuel that allows us to keep creating meaningful content that uplifts, informs, and encourages positive, empowered living in our later years. We look forward to walking this journey of health and strength together. Take good care, and we will see you in the next video.